So very good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm here to discuss on some of the GST proposals in the Union Budget 2021. So we all know that the budget was announced on 1st of February 2021, and my personal view after looking at these proposals is that this is basically an outcome of all the activities which we taxpayers or we professionals have done with the GST. So if you look at the proposals, then there are altogether 16 proposals in the GST. The 15 comes from the CGST Act, right? And the one proposal is in the IGST Act. So the proposals basically amends few of the provisions of the law which pertains to supply. It goes to even amend section 16 which deals with the input tax credit. Thereafter, the GST audit provision has also been removed with the, or rather we can say it has been replaced with the self-certified reconciliation statement. Thereafter, the interest provision has been amended retrospectively. There are certain amendments in the provisional attachment. I mean, like the powers which were earlier missing in the Principal Act has also been given. So basically, overall, if you can say that the powers which were missing in the principal sections of the Act has now been incorporated, so that the litigation which were arising on the minuscule point of law that has been well taken care in this particular proposals. So this is basically the points you can see in the index which will be dealing. So one thing I would like to make it clear that since there are altogether 15 amendments, 15 to 16 amendments, so each of the amendment is very important. I cannot classify any of the amendment into a miscellaneous provision. Sorry. There is not a single provision which is not important. Every single amendment is important, and it will take at least 7 to 10 minutes for dealing with each of the amendments, because we'll be looking after what is the current provision under the law, what was the lacuna in the law, and what has been proposed, and how do we take care of these proposals, and what could be the after effects of this proposals as well. So this is the first proposal, wherein retrospective amendment has been done on levy of GST on clubs, associations, society, etc. This proposal has been made via clause 99. So there are altogether 16 proposals starting from clause 99 and it goes till 114. The first proposal that is laid down in clause 99 deals with the amendment in the supply section itself. And we will carry another proposal which is laid down in 113 of the finance bill, which deals with schedule 2. So now let us understand that why this amendment has been proposed in the GST law. So we'll keep focus on three sections, three particular provisions of the law. Number one is section 7.1, which deals with supply. Section 7.2, which says that if an activity or a transaction has been classified as a supply in section 7.1, it needs to be treated as a supply, either as a supply of goods or a supply of services as enlisted in schedule 2. So basically section 7.2 is a bridge between section 7.1 and schedule 2. We all know that the taxable event in GST is supply. There is no need of any discussion on it. Any activity, any transaction has been covered into the definition of supply, unless and until it is specifically exempted by way of section 11 exemption, etc. Now, what the problem was there in this particular entry is that If a supply of goods was made by an unincorporated association or a body of person, basically it means to say that if a club, association or a society supply any goods to its members for any consideration, it will be treated as a supply and it needs to be taxed upon. So now let us look at the intent of the government. What does the government wants? The intention of the government is very clear since the inception of the indirect tax regime. I'm not talking about the GST regime. Even before the GST regime, the intent of the government was very clear to levy a tax on it, be it sales tax, be it service tax, etc., etc. So for this purpose, I will take you to one of the most important judgment of Young Men's India Association, wherein the Constitution Bench of Honorable Supreme Court has held that a supply by this kind of association or clubs, etc., etc., to its member cannot be treated as a sale because the element of transfer is absent. It is very obvious that one person cannot make a supply to its own. So when there is no existence of two separate persons in one transaction, it cannot be treated as sale. Therefore, in order to overrule this judgment, a deeming fiction in Article 366, 29A by clause E was inserted, which clearly stated that a tax on supply of goods by an unincorporated association or body of person to a member, etc., shall be taxed. Now, good point to note is that exactly the same phrase has been used in para 7 of schedule 2 of the CGST Act also. Meaning thereby the intent of the government is very clear that they want to tax this kind of supplies even in the GST regime. Now, if we talk about a very recent judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court in case of Calcutta Club Limited, there also Honorable Supreme Court categorically held that even after this deeming fiction, the doctrine of mutuality holds good, meaning thereby, unless and until there is existence of two separate persons, it cannot be treated as a supply from one person to another person. That means the deeming fiction which was introduced in Article 366 29A clause E did not omit or did not deal with the principle of doctrine of mutuality. Therefore, it was held that no tax can be levied on this transaction. So it was essentially this judgment which created a problem. So now let us look that what did the government do while framing the law in GST in order to ensure that a tax is levied even on this transaction. Undoubtedly, Section 7(1) is so wide to cover each and everything. But let us see that what was the dispute that they have made a proposal in this finance bill to omit para 7 of schedule 2, which says that supply of goods by an unincorporated association or body of person to its members is a supply of goods. So if you read section 7(1), it says all forms of supply. It includes all forms of supply, whether it be a sale, barter, etc., etc., by a person in the course of furtherance of business. So I'm stressing on the word person, and I'm also stressing on the word in course of furtherance of business. We all know that the government has very clearly and categorically stated in the definition of business that a provision that a provision by the club, association, society, etc., or any such body for a subscription or any other consideration of the facilities shall also be treated as a business. Fair enough, I understand that this is a business, although it contradicts to the judgment of the Calcutta High Court, which does not say that there could be a business between one own self. But what about the definition of business? If you reread para 7 again, what does it say? It says supply by an unincorporated association or body of person. Now, when you read the definition of person, which section 7.1 demands, you will find that there is complete absence of these two persons in the definition of person itself. So the validity of para 7 or schedule 2 has to get power from section 1. But in this case, section 1 itself says that it has to be supplied by a person. And the person which the government is saying that it is that the supply by an unincorporated association or body of person is itself not defined in the term person. So, in principle, this section or this particular supply only does not fall in the definition of supply as per section 7.1. So, there is no question of schedule 2. Even in the case of Calcutta Club Limited, Honorable Supreme Court has held that unincorporated association or body of person must be read disjunctively. A body of person cannot be equated with the person. This is the lacuna, which means that even though the supply has been carefully taken in or mentioned in para 7 of schedule 2, still the principal section 7.1 does not capture this transaction as a supply, and therefore this amendment has been proposed, and that too retrospectively, with an intention to override the judgment of Calcutta Club Limited held by the Honorable Supreme Court. In fact, it is worthwhile to note that even in the GST regime, there are some of the advanced rulings of Rotary Club of Mumbai, Lions Club of Pune, Rotary Club of Mumbai, Nariman Point, wherein rulings have been given in favor of SSE, stating that this type of transaction cannot be held as a supply. Therefore, the need arises, and accordingly, it has been proposed to amend this particular entry by omitting it from schedule 2 and classifying, or you can say by inserting a new clause in section 7.1 itself. So let us read what does the proposed amendment says. It says, in order to ensure levy of tax on activities or transactions, we'll come to this point that why the word activities has been introduced. Involving supply of goods or services by any person other than an individual. Now you can see how the scope has been widened, or the lacuna has been removed. The term which were earlier used in para 7, unincorporated association or body of person, has been removed or substituted by the term any person. The government alternatively could have amended the definition of person also, but the definition of person has not been amended. In fact, the scope of this entry has been widened many times, and it impacts not only to the clubs, associations, society, etc. It impacts many people, many. Reading further, it also says to its members or constituents or vice versa for cash, deferred payments, or other valuable consideration. You'll find that the term in course of furtherance or business has been removed. This is also with the intention because in the Calcutta High Court, in the Calcutta Club case, it has been held that this entry is not, or this type of activities cannot be seen as a business. Moving forward, along with this proposal in White Clause AA, it also includes an explanation which has to be read very carefully. It clarifies that notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time being in force or any judgment, decree, or order of any court, tribunal, or authority, meaning thereby
Optotex, India's #1 GST platform, all because of your love and support, and it is exclusively free for tax professionals. So please, I would request everybody to use Optotex in their offices to reconcile ITC, to download all the beautiful reports we have, and it is trusted by 50,000 plus tax professionals now, who are serving their 1 million plus clients, right? So please make sure that all of you use Optotex in your offices. It will help you a lot. And what are the benefits? How does Optotex help tax professional making GST compliance simple? Sir, automatic reconciliation of ITC, auto fetching of data from 1st July 2017. So if you start using Optotex from today, then also you will be getting the data from 1st July 2017. This is the beauty of Optotex. Third, if you are using any other software, no problem, sir. You can simultaneously also use Optotex. In just 2 minutes, Optotex fetches all data from the government portal. We have got all the due respective approvals from the government, and all the data is fetched in your system for all your clients. You have 500 clients, 200 clients, single dashboard you will be able to see, right? This is the beauty. I think many of my tax professionals, the tax professionals present in the webinar using Optotex, everybody is saying it is very nice. Thank you so much for your love and support, sir. The full facility, opt-in, opt-out facility, IFF, everything is there in Optotex now. What are the differentiators? Live dashboard, multiple users, no installation required, automatic purchase reconciliation with 2A. What's more, you can view cash and credit ledger, download month-wise 2B, GST Challan creation, download. Yes, the best part, I'm making an announcement here. We are making the Challan payment also automatic now. It will be integrated to your net banking, whatever net banking you are using, and Challan payment also you can do now from Optotex. Very soon we are bringing this feature. It took a lot of time for us to take all the approvals from the banks, but yes, we are bringing that features. Skipping this all the basic slides because already many people are using, but still if you're not using, please do sign up and support. We focus a lot on support. This is the phone number. If you want to note down, just call this number and he will guide you how to use Optotex. And sign up you can do yourself. It's just a 1-minute task, but please note down this number. You can call on this number. info@optotex.com is our email ID. YouTube pe we have demo videos. You can see the demo videos and then you can use Optotex. But I would suggest everybody to please start using Optotex. This is the software link, https://gst.optotex.com. Google Chrome browser. It works in desktop or laptop, right? So amazing facility we have given to you. So even from the technical aspect, we are trying to help you. So please utilize this benefit. Ashish ji, sir, rest all the software companies will run from the market as your Optotex. Ashish ji, our motive is not to make anybody run. Our motive is to serve the tax professional community, to help the tax professional community, make a GST platform, bring all of them together, scratch their brains, learn whatever the provisions are coming up and work also. Let's make simple.
Subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss important GST updates.